Hey everyone. I'm gonna do a little ink tonight and a little chalk. And it looks like Facebook put the notice out. I'm just gonna grab it over to my page and make sure it's showing right. I hope. And it is. Yay. Hey everyone. So mute myself. Okay. Hey, go ahead and hit like or follow. Let me see if I can adjust the camera a little bit. I did a little bit of a different angle, so see if that's better. It's so slow. Hey, Melissa. Trying a little bit of a different angle, but it is still cutting my head off no matter what I do. There. Hopefully you can still see the project. But I've got it within reach now, so I can do that. I did a workshop this morning, so it took me a little while to get my desk and everything back together. Because I had taken all my squeegees and everything with me, and did people that were like age 2 to, so like brother, sister, down to age 2. Mom, grandma, little family. It's pretty fun. So what I'm going to do is finish off my shirt, my like Chalk Couture shirt. Hey. And I brought this little bucket with me to do, so I'm just going to do a little Chalk Couture thing on that. And if anybody has any questions or is interested in me coming to do like a little workshop with you, we can do that. I'm just going to do like a little Chalk Couture logo on this. I found this at Dollar Tree. So the Dollar Tree in Messina had a lot more stuff in it than the one in Potsdam. It was kind of neat. So I'm just going to go ahead and just add a little logo to this on one side and try to figure out something for the second side. Yeah, Melissa, I didn't take pictures. And I see Brittany said to take pictures, so, but I know I'm going to do another workshop by the end of the month, so. If anybody hasn't seen this before, and some of the questions they had were like, what's the difference in the paste where you've got some that's lumpy and some that's nice and creamy? Some you have to, how do you know if you need to add water? Pretty much people following mine don't need to worry about that. Unless you get an old jar of paste, it's all going to be new formula. My mom did get an old jar, but I'm trading her the old paste formula for a new jar. Just because it is so much easier, you just, you know, dive right in and don't have to worry about adding any water to it. And just making sure I covered all this. Because this is rounded, sometimes it's a little harder. I spent $40 at the Dollar Tree last night, but it was the Dollar Tree in Messina, which I haven't been to in years. And they had quite a bit of stuff that Potsdam and Canton don't have. So it was kind of good. I'm just going to put a little logo on there, throw this in my water. And as you can see, I went over the edge. Not a big deal. I'm just going to take my little eraser that's wet, and chalk paste just wipes right off. You can even wait till it gets dry. It's just, if you catch it early, it's just easier to clean up. So do that, and I don't know if you can see that it's sparkly because it's the black is the shimmer shadow, so it's got the glitter in it. All the shimmers have the really fine glitter in it. Yeah, the one in Messina is bigger. It's in like the Price Chopper Plaza where the movie theater and stuff is, and it is a lot bigger. Which I knew because I used to go to that one. But they have like tons of stuff that the local ones don't have. I know each Dollar Tree gets to specify what they want. But they just had so much more stuff. Even like just the flowers and stuff they had, they just had so much more variety. It was good. It was really good. I mean, spend more money at the Dollar Tree. All right, so I'm gonna put that to the side to dry. Put that under there for later. Actually, I could probably just throw these back in there in the meantime. Okay. I know I had mentioned before the chalk pens, but I know it's easy to forget about them because I forget about them too. And when we had the 2-year-old today, this was something really easy that she could do, like to keep her occupied and less messy for her. And she actually used both of these. So the Chalk Couture markers, which are chalk markers, there's like chalk marker, chalk pen, which is a little bit different. So these ones write basically just like a Sharpie. Most many times when you search for chalk markers, this is what you get. However, Dollar Tree and some other ones, like sometimes you can get these at TJ Maxx, has ones that are, it says chalk writer, but it's chalk, but it's soft chalk. So it's like chalk on chalkboard, so it doesn't write as nice and clearly as the chalk markers do. So you can see the difference. It's just not as clear, but you can color in things, and especially for kids, it's chalk. You can wash it off, so they can write all over this table, and I can just wash it off. So it's just really not as big of a deal as using paint. Even if it's washable paint or markers, the chalk is just so much easier to clean up. It's great. So this is my Chalk Couture shirt that I had started. I did the chalk logo on the front. And so now I'm just going to put some stuff along the back. Since they have different like little slogans and stuff in the label group. If you get a designer kit, these are some of the ones that come in it. Like the Join My Team and like our, what is the one? Is like make your life a work of art. Oh, I did get a little extra ink on my last time. Okay. So what I've discovered with these, you can cut these because they're really thin. But what I did last time was I just slid this down and covered the bottom part of it so that the sticky part, which is super, super sticky, if you're used to a Cricut mat, it's way stickier than a Cricut mat. Because I used a Cricut mat originally before I got one of these. But they will work. You could even use a piece of cardboard. You just have to be more careful when you have your stencil on, because the purpose of this being sticky is it's going to hold my shirt in place. So when I'm moving the ink over it, it's not going to smear and move all around. So let's see. Let's go with this. I'm going to feed this up underneath, and it is going to stick to my shirt as I'm putting it in there. That's why if I don't need the bottom part, I just keep the plastic on it. You can take the whole plastic off. Completely up to you. I'm going to try to place it right about where I need it for the shirt. And I can see the tag on the back of the shirt there. So. And then you do pretty much, because it's holding it out, you're like stretching it more or less. The sticky part is holding it. Just pull it until you get it nice and smooth. So you can see it would be pretty hard if you're using just a piece of cardboard underneath it. You're not going to get it as flat and smooth like that. It's going to look more like the bottom of this one where I've got the plastic, where you're just going to have to hold it to help it work better. Okay, so with all my different logos, I've got all these different things. I'm just going to pretty much put them all on. I think I'm just going to like put them all on. They're all the different things. They'll do in different colors. Which means I am going to need to move this plastic down. At least to here. Alright, might as well do that first. Where's my little plastic? So I'm just underneath there, just peeling it up. And since I'm going to go the whole length of the shirt, I can just pull it out completely. It did make it easier to put it under the shirt by having half of the plastic on. Alright, so just stretch this out, smooth these down. Get all the wrinkles out. If you are using a piece of cardboard, a good idea would be iron the shirt first. I mean, I'm going to iron it afterwards to heat set it. I actually have an easy press, which just speeds it up. Instead of doing 4 minutes on one side, you do 30 seconds. actually just gonna stick these on. And I got the tag there, so I'm just trying to make sure that it's, maybe I'll put them a little angle that way if they're not perfectly straight. If anybody comments like, yeah, I did that intentionally. They're at all different angles. So you can see this, other ones have been used before. I think Brooke actually used this one on her apron, because the normal apron's way too big and she's like 10. So it was just easier to get like a child size one for her. And I do have child size aprons and adult aprons if anybody wants any. As you can see, I'm not fuzzing these transfers. Usually that's what you see me do. I'm not fuzzing them because I'm working with material cloth. I want them to be as sticky as possible. I do not want them to, I don't want to have the chance of them moving at all while I'm doing this, because that will cause the ink to possibly bleed underneath. The ink mat, being that it's sticky, is really going to help, and it's going to catch anything that goes through the shirts. Being that it's white shirts, if it were to go through, then it's pretty much going to go through all the way to the other side. And if you have a black shirt or something that's or a navy blue or any kind of dark color, that's not really going to show through. Right. So, not bad. I don't know how much you can see that. So I got all my little things here. I'll slide it over a little bit so maybe you guys can see that better. Move these out of the way over here. There. Is that a little bit better for you guys? Now I'm going to grab my inks. So, Couture Teal is pretty much the Chalk Couture preferred color. It looks like their signature color. I've also got some Tide. Obviously not going to use white. I think I'll just pull out a couple different colors. I've got my maroon, my purple, my green. I don't think I'm going to have the green, but so different shades there. My papaya, which I love, and black. So there's almost, I'm not sure if every color that's in chalk is in ink. Pretty close though. So I'll do the signature Chalk Couture in the Chalk Couture color. And that's what I got here. I'm just gonna mix it up. Ink stays wetter longer, so you have more time to play with it. You don't have to worry about so much about it starting to dry in the silk screen like you do with the chalk. If I started with the chalk and started at the top and go down, I want to make sure I peeled them off each one as I go. The ink, you don't have to worry about that so much. I mean, it's just a good habit to get into, but you don't have to necessarily. Right. I'm going to grab, before I start, ink is something that you want to have water close by. And it doesn't hurt to have a Clorox wipe or disinfectant wipe or even baby wipes, anything to wipe your fingers off. After you get done using ink on each section, before you pull it up, you're going to want to check your fingers. Make sure you don't have any ink on them, because you will, as you can see on this, apparently I at some point got a little bit of that on the top of the shirt, probably when I was picking it up or putting it on the hanger. If you catch it right away, you can use even the little wipe and get it off. But if you don't catch it until like this is like 2 weeks, I think I did this like 2 weeks ago, I can try to pick at it because I haven't heat set it, but it's not really going to come off. Okay. So, let me grab. So now I'm going to use different squeegees for different colors. And I'll just do my little Chalk Couture. Now these ones, because they're cut, you can see they go, try to go in one direction with the ink. That's less likely that you're going to move the transfer around or that it's going to bleed. Chalk, you don't really need to care too much about that. You can, and it's more or less getting into a good habit. Because when you switch from chalk to ink, if you're not more careful when you're doing the chalk, then all of a sudden you're doing it with the ink, and it's like, why did that happen? Oh yeah, I forgot. Just because you get into the groove of doing it. And you kind of forget to stop and think. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and pull this one up. You guys can't really see this, can you? So move these over to the side. One of these days, I'm gonna get the camera set up right at a good angle. And the stuff on the bucket, it's already dry. Okay. How's this? A little bit better. You guys can see a little bit better. Should be able to. So I did the Chalk Couture on that one, and I'm gonna go ahead and pull off this one, nice and slow, evenly, pull it right across. With ink, don't be in a hurry to pull it up immediately. Give it a minute, or not a minute, give it a couple, like 20 seconds or so to sit on there. Because what I have found is that when you go to pull it up, if I went to pull it up as soon as I finished that last letter, it's more likely that the last letter is going to smear. Just because it's still really, really wet. It hasn't completely all soaked through the mess into the shirt. So that's a little trick that you'd pretty much discover on your own, but you might as well learn from my mistakes. Or the things that I've learned along the way. All right, so that's number one, and then pick a different color here. Go with one of my, so there's two purples. There's the Fig, which is like the lighter purple shade, and Regal, which is like a bright purple. I'm gonna use the Regal. Actually, I think I'll do Design and Repeat in the dark purple, and then Love in the light purple. You'll notice when I do put the paste on, I'll put like a nice big glob of paste on. You don't want to do that with the ink. You want to put it on as evenly as possible all the way across. Just one little step at a time. If you've got a big pile that's sitting on one section for too long, it'll start to soak in, and what you'll notice is that some of your letters, even though you've used the same color, some of them look a little darker than others, and that is just because you had it sitting on a big clump sitting on one end, so it was able to absorb more. Oops. And I don't think I've used my light purple yet. My Fig. Oh, as always, just scrape any excess back into the jar. I'm only gonna need a little bit for this. It's just the little Love. And for anybody that knows, I can make my own stencils. So I know, like for my nephew, I made one of his name, because the spelling of his name, it's Mason, which is not, completely uncommon name, but it's spelled M-A-I-S-O-N. So, of course, the poor kid, when you go to the store and stuff, you can never find anything spelled like his name. It's always like M-A-S-O-N or something. Hey, Tammy Jo, how are you? Hopefully having fun with your kit. And I didn't check my fingers, so I just got a little bit of purple on the shirt. So, check your fingers. Okay, so, I'm not sure if you can see this or not, but you'll see the wet spot. And that's why, because this is so thin of a design, if you want, you can put painter's tape around the edge, which just gives you a little extra security. I always tell people, just, know your level of messiness. How messy are you? If you're not very messy, shouldn't have to worry about it. Be more cautious, obviously, with the ink, because the ink doesn't come off as easily as the chalk paste. So, I'm gonna pull it off. Remember, it's stickier than normal because I did not fuzz it at all. So I'm holding the shirt as I pull it up, even though it's on the ink pad. that. The darker purple definitely shows up better than the lighter purple. Pops out more on the white. Okay. Now, and I'm just gonna like rotate the Couture coral. Yeah, the teal. The Couture teal. Hey everybody. Yay, love your kit. Hopefully you guys are having fun with it. Remember that you can do it like on windows and stuff. Windows, mirrors, picture frames, anything like that. It's good to practice on. Because then you just do this little Windex and just wipe it right off. The chalk, obviously not the ink. And I just have a water bucket over here to the side that I'm just putting these in, just so the ink doesn't really dry on them. It'll keep them wetter while I'm doing this. So this is what I've got so far. And then I'm just gonna slide it up, do a couple more, pick a couple more colors. Ooh, this one's tight. I'm just going up and down, nice even amount of ink. A little goes a really long way. You will notice because this is a white shirt, it's easily going to be able to be seen. You're doing, as I've done like a really dark gray and black shirts, when you're doing that, because the ink does sink in, if you want something to be super bright like a yellow on a black, you might have to go over it a second time. Give it a chance to dry a little bit, pull it up and see how it looks, to decide whether or not it's the right color that you want. Because when I did Mason's, I did flames for him, like little flames for fire that he uses on his YouTube channel and the intro and stuff. And I wanted to make sure that the yellow really stood out because it was a dark shirt. So I did go over it a little bit of times. I actually mixed red and orange into it so it gives like a little bit of color. Next time I'll probably use like some blue flames for him. All right, have a good night. You got the perfect settings. I saw you guys earlier walking out and you've got like the castle view. It must be nice to like go walking down along the bay whenever you want. We've traveled down there on boats and driven down. I've done like the Uncle Sam boat tours and stuff and walked down its cute little shopping area in Alexandria Bay. See how I gave it like a minute to, not quite a minute, to start to make sure I got it all out of the silk screen and that it had enough time to start soaking into the shirt before I pulled it off. Okay. No, the light purple didn't. Okay. So down here I'm going to do a couple mixtures of colors. So I'm going to do like a light purple. And then I'm going to close up my light purple. Because then in the other half I'm going to do in another color. I don't know which color. I didn't care how the light purple and dark purple look together. So I think I'll use a little bit of the Tide that I just used. So Tide is almost like a really dark teal. And I have done overlapping with inks before. I think it's a little easier. I mean, the inks don't want to mix together as easy as the chalk paste, because you're swirling it around and stuff. this one up. Those two are getting out of my way. And check my fingers because I do have it on my fingers. Okay. Oops. So, hopefully everybody's ready for Easter tomorrow. So you can I'm going to hold it up so you can see it a little bit better. So like up here, I've got obviously the Regal Purple, the Tide, the light purple, which is a fig. The Regal Purple is the dark. And down here, I just did a little line of the Tide, and then the fig and Tide and fig, and then in between, I just kind of like put the squeegee together where they met, and you can kind of see that it's like a little fade from one color into the other. I like how that one looks better than the other ones. So maybe I'll do that. I'm done with my Regal. Toss that one away. I'm gonna take, I still have this one. That one's all wet. Okay, so I still have my papaya and my black still that I haven't used. Papaya is pretty much like an orange, but it's that like pumpkin-y kind of orange, not too bright. Definitely a fall autumn color, but it's, I think it might be my favorite color. That and the pistachio green. I wish they would look better together, but they're a little bit off. So I'm going to do the black and the papaya orange on the Make Money Beautifully. I'll do both of them together. And at any time, if I decide I don't like these colors, I can put the transfers back on and go over it again. But afterwards, I will hang this up and let this dry overnight before I heat set it tomorrow. And grab one of these. I'm going to put the black on first. My black's getting a little low because I've used it a lot, but I do have another black ink. So I'm going to do like the Make Money Beautifully. Making sure I cover the letters. Okay, I'm just going to toss that. And then I'll put the papaya on and then make sure that they're mixed together nicely. Checking my fingers for ink. Sure, when I check my fingers, there's no ink on there. It's when I don't check my fingers that there's tons of ink on it and I end up getting it all over everything. Alright, so these I'm just going to put down. Because I've already got the black all over, I'm just going to put a little gob of ink on each section. And then I'm going to go back over it. It's right above the letters, so now I can go over the letters, go back and go up and down to get the colors mixing together. And even though if I do the orange on top of the black, doesn't mean it's going to change the black, because darker color always shines through. It's just one thing that happens. If I were to put the black on top of the orange, it would override it. But I'm not going to scrape this back into my jar because then I would end up getting black in there and it'll change the color of the orange. So while I give that a second, I'm going to go ahead and pop the Couture teal onto the last part. So hopefully you can see I'm putting it on and then scraping it off right away. Not letting a big glob sit anywhere. When I put the globs up on the orange, I actually put them above the letters so that they weren't actually soaking through the transfer onto into the shirt. It wasn't until I moved those blobs that started to happen. Alright, so this is all set. So I got everything on there. And you see that last part took me quick. When I get talking, sometimes I slow down. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and pull this one up because I've given it a good at least 30 seconds to the last letter section to dry. And I'm going to hold the shirt down as I pull this up. Because remember, I didn't fuzz it, so it's super sticky. Actually, I could do it from this end. You guys can see the reveal as it's revealing. Probably be easier for you. So as I'm holding the shirt down, pulling it up, I'm just watching the letters to make sure that they look okay. Ooh, the papaya and the black together look very Halloween-y. Love it. There we go. Hello. Don't forget, you can say like and hi whenever you want, anybody out there. And I'm gonna pull this one up. So usually you just grab each corner, pop the corners up so you can get a good grip on the middle. So you wanna pull it as evenly as possible. For the longer transfers, I just do it on the end. Just seems to be a little bit easier. I haven't used some of these ones before, so they are really sticky. All right, so far, this is what we've got. All my little Chalk Couture logos on a shirt. I'm gonna grab the hanger so I can hang it up, and I'll hang it up back here to the side. I'll put some little hooks in the bottom of a shelf. And then I'll just let it dry overnight, and then tomorrow I'll heat set it with my Easy Press. If you don't have an Easy Press, if you have an Easy Press, then you know how to heat set pretty much. So it's 330 for 30 seconds. But if you don't have a heat press, you can get an iron. You can even get little mini irons for projects and stuff if you don't normally iron anything. And it's just put parchment paper on top of it, on top of your design once it's fully dry. And then you use an iron on medium to high heat and go over and over and over and over it for 4 minutes. Then you'll turn the shirt or towel or whatever you've made inside out, and you'll do it on the back side, the same thing on the back side of the design. There we go. All right, so I'll leave that up to dry. To clean my ink mat, see it's still really sticky. I'm just gonna take, all you really need to do is just take your eraser or Clorox wipe and just wipe it down. So I'm not sure if you can see some of the blue or the purple that came through. I'm just gonna wipe it off. It's basically, this is like at the back side of a transfer. That's really sticky. And then I will put this to the side till it dries before I put the backing, the clear plastic over it to preserve it. Expect that your fingers are going to stick to it. Which is good because I've used this several times. I even used it mistakenly on burlap and got a whole bunch of burlap on it. But that's all off now. So it takes a little off each time. So I'm just going to set this to the side to dry. Somewhere where the cats won't step on it and get stuck to themselves. Does anybody have any questions? I can see people have popped in and out, and I don't know who everyone is. Let's see. This is just a self-healing mat. Pretty much just protects my desk. I'm not too worried about this desk, but if you're worried about the surface that you're working on, because at first I started working on when I was working on my kitchen table. And it's got grooves in it, so things would get in the grooves, and it just was a pain to clean out the grooves in the table with the wood. Okay, so I will finish that tomorrow. Kind of just, maybe I'll decide what colors I like best to do an apron with. I really like how the black and the orange came together, but that's not the Chalk Couture colors. That's all right. All right, I'm gonna sign off for the night. And if anybody has any questions, go ahead and enter them in, or you can personal message me. And I do have a couple of catalog idea books left. Club just changed, so the new transfer, which I'll be posting, so you'll be able to see it on the page what it looks like. The new transfer for the month of April has been announced and shown, and there's even a little video. I haven't gotten mine yet, but it's on the way. And then there's the new designer kit that has some of the new transfers that haven't been released to anybody yet. So if you're thinking about being a designer, and just some people are designers just because they want to have the discount on the product because we get such a good discount. But if you only wanted to do it once in a while, like I'm even thinking of my mom, like the club is $20 a month and it sends you what you need, and then we will post like all different ways to use it, all different ways to create designs, how to combine different monthly transfers, just so that you have an idea of what to do. Like, oh, I never thought about doing that. Remember, you can do windows, doors, tables, anything you want. All right, I'm gonna sign off. Everybody have a great Easter, and likely we'll be on tomorrow. Not sure what I'll be doing yet, but I'll be on. All right, bye guys.